I found this phonograph that had a lamp. It was made by the Ferry Phonograph Company in Chicago, and from like 1917 to 1920. I guess I'm just drawn to certain things that I feel have this timeless, handmade quality to. And I never know when I'm going to find one of those items or when I'm going to come across it. It usually finds me. I always tell people music found me. I'm Dolfus Ramseur. I run Ramseur Records, and I manage bands and I put records out. We oversee the careers of musicians and try to help them achieve their artistic visions. You know, all my bands and artists I work for, they're on the edge of the table, not in the middle of the table. So they're not safe. I grew up on a dirt road. Radio was sort of my outlet. I mean, I listened to the radio as a kid all the time. I was always searching the left side of the dial. I made mixtapes, cassettes. And I still look at myself as I'm making a mixtape for people with the bands I work with and managing the albums I release. I would say I've put out 70 albums, and I would say I've been a part of probably 15 of those as far as working on the records and the recordings themselves. Before I even purchased this home, I felt like this would probably be the room where I would record kind of modern field recording type recordings. It's a cabin that was built in 1802. Around the cabin is a modern home.
You left me for pretenses, and your lovers upon the door. I left you for good reasons that I'll speak about no more.
You know, someone like David Childress, you know, he's kind of a punk rocker at heart anyway, and making records this way, to him, it feels like this is the purest, most honest, direct way he can do it.
Now you wander through the darkness, bar to bar and bed to bed. One day you'll see the wreckage left by the life you led. Hey!
I'm a big believer in the lightning in the bottle kind of approach of catching it in the moment. So I just have fun doing these recordings. One of the highlights of my life is the Avett Brothers recorded a song called No Hard Feelings. And it was all live in a room, and you could just tell they had reached beyond something normal and captured it. There's just, you can't really describe it. It's a special moment. The reason I've stayed in North Carolina is just, we're just such a strong state when it comes to all forms of music. You got John Coltrane, Thelonious Monk, Max Roach, Earl Scruggs, Doc Watson, I mean, it goes, Roberta Flack, Nina Simone, it goes on and on. I'm a big fan of the Piedmont Blues, which I'm from the section of North Carolina that's the Piedmont, that's in between the mountains and the coast. That form of blues, a lot of folks would, you know, have a reel-to-reel in the 40s, 50s and tape these artists. Some of those recordings are not that great, but it's the performance on those recordings that are really great. And I can listen to those with no bias or all this is terrible because it sounds, I'm listening to the performance. When I first started with getting a nice stereo system, vinyl was sort of the end game for me. I started chasing what could I add to my system that would be on par with this, and that led me to DCS. I've got two Bartóks, one that I use with these Western Electric speakers, and I also have a turntable in this room. But I find what DCS does, they feel handmade. You know, I feel like all of those products are made just for me. I get into a zone here where I'm really listening. It just helps me explore all forms of music when I'm using this piece of art, piece of equipment, really. I use different streaming services with the Bartók. I don't think of the services I'm using, I think of it as I'm using the Bartók. The thing I love about it is the sense, the discovery of where it helps me go with discovering new music. At the end of the day, music to me is my friend. It's never failed me. I call on it all the time. I use it happy moments, sad moments. I like to listen to music in the dark, but certain songs. So yeah, it's something that's just I'm passionate about, always have been, always will be.